Okay, let's see. So we are going to start the foundation plan. So I picked, it looks like Brian's Spanish eclectic home here. So he's got the footings and stuff on here. So I'm just going to kind of go through the process of creating a foundation plan. They're a little tricky and there's some view range issues and stuff. So there's some stuff in the book. If you go to page 202 in the book, it'll kind of give you a starting and stuff. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, but all right, so here we go. I'm going to take level 1 working and I'm going to duplicate it with detailing. So that'll copy all of the annotation stuff as well. We're going to call that the foundation plan. So I'm going to rename that to the foundation plan. So basically what the foundation plan is, it's a concrete plan. It's like what's underneath the walls. So as I set up this foundation plan, I don't need the level 1 working anymore. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I have my foundation plan and I've got the 3D view open here just to kind of give you kind of a look, see what's going on. All right. So let's start with what we want to do with this, because I really don't want any walls and all that stuff on here. We do want the floors on. So I'm just going to check on Brian's here, VV, just make sure that his floors are on and his are, and his footings are on. So I don't know if we were making those things, but we did them with, what was it? It was called, what do we make those footings out of? It was structural foundation. So just make sure those two are on. Okay. Now, I chose Brian's because he's got kind of a couple of funky things going on here. He's got the kind of curved thing going on right there we have to deal with. And but his garage is pretty easy. He's got kind of a transition of garage to house and then exterior. So I wanted to choose something a little bit harder. So Brian's is a good one. He's got a loggia as well. All right. So our first step here is to basically get rid of all the stuff, above the ground. So we're going to do it this way. We're going to go VV. We're going to change the, whoops, sorry, I want to do it that way. Sorry, not VV. We're going to go to the view range, over here. And we're going to change that to something that's going to, reflect what we want. So we're going to take this at 0. And we're going to make this at 0 to start. And then we're going to go down a couple of feet, just enough to get down below the footings and stuff, maybe like something like -3 feet or something like that. We'll do the same thing with the other one here, -3 feet. And hit OK, and then kind of watch out. That's okay, don't worry about that. So you get this kind of crazy thing here. So we have the doors there. Now the doors have a, they dropped a little bit. That's why we're seeing those. We made those -6 inches. So that kind of makes sense. And then we have kind of a mess, but that's okay. We're going to fix that. Brian, I don't know what you got going on here. I'm going to go ahead and delete some of this stuff because this is underground, so it wouldn't make any sense to be there. He just moved things in there, so that's why some of this stuff is there. Not sure what that is. He's got some weird things going on here. So level 1 working. I'm just gonna VH that. Okay. Again, he's got a few things going on here. What's going on with this? This is a plan region for something here. Let's see. He's got a washroom. I think when he made his plan region, he made it kind of funky. So for that, I'm just gonna right click, hide in view element. We'll do the same thing with all this other stuff here. Hide in view element. So we just need to basically get it out of our way. Hide in view element. It's not hurting anything. It's just, we don't want to delete stuff we're not sure about. Okay. Again, these EQs, I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, these are probably from his loggia openings. That's all fine. Kind of the same thing here. He's got some weird things going on there for some reason. Just gonna VH that. We don't need any plumbing fixtures in here. VH, and we'll VH that too. Okay. So it's not unusual to have kind of funky things going on there. This one's probably a mistake, but I'm going to hide in view element. And do the same thing with this. You have to be careful VHing, but for the most part, we're not going to have much on this thing but concrete, so I'm not going to worry too much about that, and that tag can be deleted. Remember, we made a duplicate of the view, so anything on here, you know, pretty much don't have to worry about. Even the door, you don't really need the doors. We'll VH the door. Okay, and you can see the concrete curb cuts that we've got going on. Okay, well, so this is our first step. We have just basically a bunch of junk here, and it's hard to see the concrete right now. Let's see if it's turned off. Looks like it is right there. So let's go ahead and put that back on again. I'm gonna unhide and view element. I'm gonna pick that and unhide view element. So basically we're turning that back on again, right? Because this is a view we're going to want to see that stuff in. Do the same thing here. Unhide, oops, unhide element. And let's go ahead and, so we got something that looks kind of like that. We've got the concrete, which makes sense. We're looking down on it, right? And we've got some of the changes in direction. We've got some sections. Really the only sections I'm interested in are the ones that are on sheet. So in Brian's case, this looks pretty good. Okay, so again, I want you to think this is a concrete plan. There really shouldn't be anything else but concrete. And that's what we're, the name of the game of this thing is. Okay, again, be careful on erasing things. I don't think I erased anything, but some of the stuff I knew was kind of down below. I probably should have just VH'd everything there. So, but Brian, I'm not messing with your original one, so it's okay. All right, let's see. So, you should just see the floor. You should see the garage slab. You should see, the main building, and you might have some, you might have some things like loggias and things like that. That would make sense. I'm not going to worry so much about the fireplace here. I'm just going to go that right there. I'm going to go and VH that as well. Okay. For the purposes of these gas fireplaces, they don't have any special things going on like they would if it was a brick fireplace. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to start making we're going to make a few custom line styles, or one especially. We need a nice big thick line. I'm not sure we have one that I want, so I'm going to go ahead and create one. So we're going to go to manage, additional settings, line styles. Drag that over. And we've done these before. We might have one that we like. I'm not sure if we have one or not. We have a big fat ground line. I'm just going to make a new one here. I'm going to go and call it foundation. So do something like this. Foundation EXT. Okay. And okay, we're going to make this kind of thick. We're going to make this like an 8. Nice big fat line. It'll be what we put around the outside. We're going to need it to pop a little bit. So that 8 is going to be good. We'll make it black and solid. Okay. All right. So let's start with the exterior, just basically the outside of the thing. And just think of us kind of trying to create a little pop on this thing. I'm not sure if the line weights are on here or not. It doesn't look like they are. So now the line weights are on. So this is what we have, just kind of a mess a little bit. It's because we got a lot of lines going on. Brian might have made a few mistakes on the modeling. We're not going to worry about that. Okay, let's start basically with the edge of the concrete. So we are going to do the exterior footings first. So we're going to go to annotate, detail line, and we're going to use that new foundation line that we have. Now, there's 2 ways to do this. You can do this by just drawing on top and not locking them. You could use the pick arrow and you could lock. There's different ways you can do it. It's completely up to you. I'll do a couple different ways and then you can kind of decide. And then if the thing moves, then sometimes the drafting lines, the detail lines, sometimes they don't. So you have to be careful with that. I'm going to start by just drawing on top of it. Just you can draw on top of it, see the thickness of the line. And then we could use the pick arrow here. I'm going to use the pick arrow for that arc right there. Now, in theory, you can just go around and pick. And if you want to lock it at the same time, then what it does is it keeps it at that edge. So if you decide to move the footing a little bit, these will go along for the ride. I'm not going to lock it. only because when you overlock things, sometimes Revit gets all wonky. And so I just don't want to do that. If you do, you can. Just be aware that it could be a problem later. Now, when this stuff happens, don't mess with it. Just hit, I'm going to hit escape a couple times. So I'm using the pick arrow, but I am going to do that kind of thing. So I'm just kind of bumping around the outside of the house using the pick arrow. Get back in there, detail line, using the pick arrow. Again, you can check the lock button right here and it'll automatically lock it every time you pick it. Like I said, you do you. I'm going to keep it the way it is. Now this one, I'm not sure which one's right. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this inside one and you know what? I take that back. I'm going to take that outside one. And you can see that, we'll have to figure it out later on what's going on there. And again, don't do lines and lines. If that happens, just pick it and drag it. Don't put lines over lines. And so we've got is kind of call it a pop of the outside of the building. Let's go ahead and do the outside. While we're here, we'll go and do the outside of the garage. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I'm going to leave that just the way it is. Let's just continue with the building. Now, the building has footings. Let's go to let's do a little section view here. I'm going to show you what I mean here. So if I was to cut this thing right there and go to the view, we've got this kind of footing going on right here. Let me just turn on the detail level to medium and turn off the line maze for a second. So we've got this footing. I think this is probably 18 inches or something like that. Let's see. If you did actually 15 inches, I think, right? 15 inches. Yeah, 15 inches, right? What we need to do is we need to locate or show this corner right here as a hidden line. Because it's hidden. The one we just did would be this corner right there, and we got that. So we need this little corner here. Don't worry about this little bevel and stuff, but we need that. We could offset 1'3", but that's not what we're going to do. We're going to basically cut this thing somewhere along here so we can get that footing somewhere. I don't know. That's 1'2". Call it 1'3". I don't know, 1'3". Anywhere along here would be fine. So I'm going to change the cut region on that view like this. I'm going to go down and we're going to cut negative. And this is, random. It can be anywhere in the ballpark here. I'm going to go 1'3" and apply. Now what you see is you see the inside lines. You actually see the place where that footing is. So what I want to do now is I want to make those hidden lines. I'm going to do it the same way I showed you before. Detail line, but this time I'm going to use a hidden line. Do the hidden with the bracket, not the hidden lines. Do the hidden, this one. And you can do it however you want. You can just draw right on top of them. Like I said, I'm going to draw on top of them this time, just to show where I'm going. I'm going to start here. Now, you're not going to be able to see this line because the object line's on top of it. But basically what happens is it just goes around the outside. Now on this arc, I don't want to do that. I could do it this way with an arc, but I don't want to. Excuse the pick arrow. Boom, there it is. And now you can't see it, but it's there. All right, let's go back to the pick. If you want to, you can just continue to pick. It's just hard to see, Okay, and then we get to a weird spot here. Oops. We get to a weird spot here. I'm just going to stop it like that. Okay, let's see. I think we started up here. So let's see. I want to go this way. Let's see. Where would that be? That would be, I think that's here. Well, I'm not really sure. So here's what you do if you're not sure. You give yourself a little hint because sometimes it gets a little weird in there. You're not sure what you're looking at. So this is a sort of almost like a garage to house situation. So we got a little bit of weirdness here. We have that. Let me see if I can join the geometry of these things, make this a little smoother. There. So we have something like that. So this would be what we did the first time. That's the drop. So that's the outside of the house. And then this is where our hidden line is going to be. And then we have another one over here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a reference plane. I'm going to do 3 of them. I'm going to do one, the middle one. So that's the one that's the object line. And then this one right here is going to be an inside line. And this one here is going to be, so those will both be hidden lines because we have the corners there. All right, so back we go. So you see where they are there. So this is the solid line. I could probably turn the line weights on to see that. And then we want the hidden lines to be on the inside. So here we go. Let's see, annotate, detail line. It's going to go like that. And that. It's going to move that around. I'm going to stop right there because there's a garage to house thing over there too. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. It's kind of a loggia, sort of a garage to house situation. I'll show you the garage to house as we go along. Okay, so we're just drawing detail lines where they go. I'm not going to deal with the loggia out here yet. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this back, just kind of show you where we are here. Let's go back to the view range. I'm going to change this back to 0. And I'm going to turn off the floors for just a second. I'm just going to show you what this looks like here. We could probably, no, we need the floors on, but I'm just going to show you what we have. And turn on the line weights. Yeah, I need to turn off the footings too. Just right now, I want to keep those on, but I just want to show you what we have here. Structural footings. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to delete those. So here, see what we're kind of doing there? So we've got the solid line, which is the edge, and then we have the hidden lines that represent the, the footings. We'll talk about that stuff later, the transitions and stuff. Right now, I just want you to kind of get it going. You can see it gets a little weird in the transitions. And now we're kind of at the garage area, and we have this garage to house section going on. Let me go ahead and turn those floors back on. And the structural foundations. Okay, let's take that section here. Let's bring that over here. So this is going to be the garage to house area right here. If you remember that, it kind of drops right there. So let's just take a look at that. Turn off the line weights and turn on. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. So he modeled this really well. This is exactly what it's supposed to look like. So this would be where the drop is right here. And then this would be the exterior footing, the hidden lines. I'm going to use that same trick. I really like that trick of using the reference planes. So the first reference plane is going to be the drop. So that's gonna be a solid line. And then we have these other two that are going to be hidden lines, right? Because that's the footings at the corners. So these two outside ones represent the corners, right? And we should have the drop right there at that middle one. Okay, let's back to the foundation line. So see them? And that makes sense, right? You can see the solid line right there. If I turn it on, that should be right even with the middle one. And then of course we have our two outside ones. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see, annotate, detail line and hidden. And you can see where we are here. So that's making more sense now. We're going to drag that down. And I'm going to go all the way to here. Same thing on the inside here. I'm going to go there and all the way up. Again, this is going to be a little, right up in this area, it gets a little wonky. So just kind of get it close and we'll clean it up later. All right. So that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those now. Again, once you use them, you probably should get rid of them. That looks pretty good. Okay, now what we have this garage area here. So the outside's easy. If I was to take, let's say this section right here and just kind of put it like there. We've got the garage curb going on. So we have to deal with this garage curb. We're going to see a solid line here. We're going to see a solid line here. And then we're going to see a hidden line here. So it's going to be a solid hidden. Okay. So I don't know, let's see, let's start this. Let's get the outside part first, just the outside edge here. So let's go back to the foundation plan. You can see that there. That's pretty easy to look at. I'm just going to take that and drag that. And then let's see. Line. Do our big foundation exterior. I don't think I did that very well. Let me just do that again here. I think that might be a little short. I'm going to use the pick arrow on that. And then it's going to be a little weird in here. So we're going to talk about that because there's a break. It's going to go like this. Let's see, is there going to be a, yeah, there is a cross here actually. All the way to the end. Okay. Now we do have the curb cuts here and we're going to talk about those, but right now we'll leave it like that. Okay, don't let all this stuff out here that fool you because sometimes that's not exactly what you want. Okay, let's see. I don't know, I guess we can do the hidden line part. So if I go to the view, I'm going to want the hidden line to be here. And I'm going to want the solid line to be there. So let's do those reference planes. Remember, the outside is the hidden line. And the second one, the one closest to the outside, is the solid line. Back we go. So you see what's going on there. Can you see them? So now you see what that line is, right? This line is the curb. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So if that's the curb, then we're in business here. We're going to go ahead and turn the line weights back on. And let's make that curb because we know we verified where it is. So let's see. Annotate, detail line. And then you can use the pick arrow, I guess, here, right? Just pick that and that. Then it's going to go here, but I don't want that going all the way across. I'm going to undo that last one there because we have a curb cut, which means there's no curb there. So it's going to go like this and like that. I know it looks really bad there, but that's what happens. And then it's going to go like this, like that. The line weights look really heavy, but when they print, they're not like that. They'll be better. So this would be the edge of the concrete, if that makes sense. And then there's no curb at that spot because that's where the door is. And then the other line is going to be the hidden line. Now we know we have that all the way around. So let's go ahead and just set that up. Let me do another section just to verify. Brian looks like he did this right. So let's go to the view. Let's turn this on. Detail level medium and turn off the line weights. So what I'm looking for, I've already got I've already got the curb. So all I need here is the footing. Let's just verify where it is, but this can be 1'3", so we could just offset if we wanted to. All right, so let's see. So you see where it is right there? Yeah. So let's start laying that out. Annotate, detail line. And right at the garage there, so it's gonna be probably right around there. And we'll just kind of work that around. Oops, I didn't do that right. Let me delete that. Wrong type of line. Detail line. Hidden. Okay. Now I know it's on top of a hidden line, but that's just, that right there, that reference plane's not going to be there. So we are going to draw right on top of that reference plane because that's where the hidden line is. And then it's going to get in here somewhere. It's getting a little wonky again. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now the question goes, now what happens with the footing right there? Is it going to be there? Let's find out. And the answer is, oh, yep. So we're going to see that hidden line all the way through, right? So even though you have a curb cut, right? There's a curb cut right there. There's still the bottom of the footing. So you do have to deal with that. So let's go ahead and put in the reference plane. I know some of you are thinking you would just offset it 1'3" from the outside, and you'd be right. That's okay. Just want to show you more graphically there, so you see where it is there. So annotate, detail line, and let's go ahead and put that from here to here. Okay, again, I'm not going to deal with the loggia on this demo. You're going to treat the loggia just like the garage to house, exactly the same. It's going to look just like that. Same deal. Okay, so I'm not going to include that. Okay, I think I have what I want. All right. Let's see, I'm going to just pick on this. I'm in the book, I'm on page like 205, just kind of showing you stuff. Some of this, if you guys have already done with the modeling, sorry, I'm just rolling through the book here. I'm just going to see where it is so I can refer with you guys. You guys already did you guys already did the modeling, so that part's not an issue. So I'm on page 211 now. This is kind of where I'm reviewing what I'm doing here. So page 212 shows it pretty good on the curbs and stuff. 213. Okay. All right. Yeah, I demoed the curb cut, so I said on my notes on 214 I was going to do it differently. Okay, so now what we need to do, let's get rid of these sections here. I don't need those anymore. Delete and delete. And I don't need these reference planes that I made there anymore, or that one. Delete. And I don't need that section. Delete. I don't need that. Cancel. I'm just going to hide that. Hide in view. Okay. Again, I'm not going to deal with the loggias there. That'll be a different demo. Okay, so how do you see the foundation plan, right? Because it's kind of a mucky mess right there, right? So now what you do is you got all these detail lines. What you're going to do is turn off the floors and the structural foundation. So it goes something like this. VV. I'm going to turn off the floors. I know it seems weird, but that's what's they're going to make things muddy if you leave them on. And I'm also going to turn off the structural foundation. Now, I didn't delete them. I'm just turning off this view. You'd think that you would see them, but you really don't want to. You want to see that. You want to see nice and clean. I'm going to turn the line weights on so you can see the pop. So what we have now is we have this kind of scenario here. So you might want to cut a section to see what's going on here. If there's a continuation, whether it does something like this, this will be where you have to go ahead and clean up your modeling and what's going on with it. Find out what's, where things stop and start. It could be something like that. I'm guessing. Use the trim command there. Modify, trim. Something like that. And look around. That looks pretty right. Oops, I still have one more. These guys, delete. It's the curb should look like this. That's the garage curb. This is also how, if you have a loggia, how the loggias are going to look. There's my curb cut. Now, what's happening here is this. Here, again, I should probably use the trim command here. You've got your footings. I think that's right. Gets a little weird where you start getting transitions. I'm not going to worry so much about that because it gets a little tricky. If you have stuff like this, again, I probably would leave this because he needs to deal with the loggia, but otherwise you can turn things off. Okay, so once you have it like this, you can leave the elevation marks on. You guys already have those because you've put those on sheets already. This is an older model. I'm just going to go ahead and save this. So then I want you to go to page, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to go way back here. Sorry, I need to find something here. I'm looking for the residential or the foundation checklist. Let's see, site plan, there, presentation plan, interior elevations, there it is, page 384. You're going to want page 384, the foundation plan checklist. It could be a little different. I'm looking at an old version of the book. So what we have to do is we have to tell them what this stuff is. So we're going to start with the main, the main hunk of concrete there. So this is going to be, do a little text. little 3:30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this text that's on page 384 and I'm going to cheat. Right click, copy, because I do not like to type. All right, and I'm going to pick here. Oops. And I'm going to Control V. And that's going to give me this big old beautiful long thing right here. I'm going to throw a couple of arrows, a segment on the left and the right. So you can add segments to these things. Whoops, did I do that right? Let's see. Oh, there we go. So I'm going to add a little left here. I'm going to add a little right here. And what that's going to do is just going to say, yeah, you know, in this area, that's what's going on. It's going to be I don't really want that number 1 there, but that's okay. 5-inch concrete slab, which is what it is, over 5-inch sand fill with 6x6 welded wire mesh to provide a 0.006 vapor barrier. That's the vapor retarder, and the 2x24 rigid insulation around the entire perimeter. I don't know if we did the rigid insulation around the entire perimeter, so we'll leave that there, but that could be different. Okay, next, the garage. So the garage note is this one right here. So the garage actually has a little bit of a slope to it, so the water drains. We didn't model that. We just didn't model it. So copy for another day. All right. So we kept it a little bit more simple. So we made it flat, but it really is just a slight taper. You know, it floats kind of down toward here. So if they're getting any water in the back, it goes toward the street. Okay, let's go ahead and put a little text in there. Oops, try that again. Oh, come on now, stop it. Control V. That looks good. And let's go ahead and bunch it. So it goes like that. And once again, I'm going to escape a couple times. I'm going to pick that. Get rid of that 1 there. There. Okay. Sorry, that's bugging me. That 1 doesn't need to be there. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do that. And we're going to do that. I don't know why that goes underneath like that, but just that's fine. So what's happening here, you have a 5-inch concrete slab, 6 inches below the house slab, over 5-inch gravel fill, and it talks about the slope per foot for drainage. So 1/4 inch per foot, just like a super soft, like shed roof, but it's a shed floor. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have the exterior part. So we talked about this exterior part. Let me just go to the view here. So we have this this footing. You have anchor bolts. Oh, this is not a good view. Yeah, well, this is not actually a terrible view. I want to go to the section he has. Let's see. I was going to show you a little bit better here. What's going on here? I don't want that. That's what I want. So you got your Douglas fir pressure treated sill plate. We've talked about all this stuff, right? All this stuff in here. So there's a note for that. We have anchor bolts. I think we did that somewhere. We did the anchor. I'm not sure which detail it is here. Let's go to this view right here. Remember, we had the anchor bolt and we had the rebar and all that stuff. So we have this detail. So with that said, there's a note for it. Let's go back to the foundation plan and we're going to point to it. So it's going to look something like this. Again, all this stuff is typed out for you. So I have to do is copy and paste it. All right. So let's see, I'm going to do a text. I'm going to do a little leader. I'm going to point at one of those edges there and Control V. And let's go and shrink it. So what this is saying is that you have 2x6 Douglas fir pressure treated sill with 7/8 inch by 20 inch anchor bolts, which you guys remember we did that as a detail, that they're 6 feet on center. So every 6 feet they put one. And then they go 17 inches minimum into the concrete and 12 inches max away from any corner with 3-inch diameter washers. So, it gives all that information. So we put these notes on the plans. All right, we got just a couple more here. We have the blackout for the garage door. Actually, that's the last one because I didn't have you guys do the little doors. I'm going to copy that. So we're going to talk about the blockout. So that blockout would be right here. We have two of them. So text, do a little leader, this, point like right there or something like that. And then Control V. You could do, maybe you could probably do it like this, doors, do an S on that. And we can do is, once we do that, we can add a leader on the right. And we can just go, oh yeah, we go there too. So something like that. Again, I got to figure out that leader. Okay, we are almost done. So your last play is to dimension it. Once you got the notes in, dimensioning is pretty easy on these things. It's going to be kind of like you did with a floor plan, but we just need to do the exterior parts, not the hidden lines. So it might look something like this using, oops, not text, dimension. And we'll use your, your dimension style. So it might go something like this. From here, I do want to do the block out there. So I want to get the garage. I'm going to pick those off. Pick the garage wall there. And this arc here for this is going to be a little weird. I'm just going to go ahead and hit it like this. We'll get that arc later. I'm just going to pick off the walls. I'm not doing the hidden lines, just doing those. Just one shot like that. You might have stuff. I'm going to go on the other side here. So I might go from here to here. Notice I'm just getting the object, kind of thick line there. Pick that off and to the outside. So something like that. I'll do the overalls in a minute. Right now, I'm just getting the main ones here. So from here to here, some of again, I'll get that arc in a minute. And I'm going to get from here to here. I don't know if I would stretch all that out there. From here to here. So yeah, I might take that one here and pull that out like so, and kind of there. Would I want to bring those out? Maybe not. That's going to go through that circle. I don't think so. All right. And then just kind of continue the process, So let's see. We've got it from, I'm going to miss one of these and look foolish, but so, whoops. And something like, again, into the object line. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go this way. They do want overalls and they should match. So, this overall on this side, get your snap going, should look the same as this overall on this side. Right? 85 feet, 10 and a quarter. 85 feet, 10 and a quarter. So his house isn't sloping. Not seeing a whole bunch of value in doing this, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it out anyway. Just like that, just make sure that both sides are the same. Woo, sorry. Hit the F1 key instead of escape. Okay, so let's see. That's the same, right? 66, 2.5. 66, 2.5. All right. Okay, now the arc. Let's go ahead and figure that out. Let's see, we want to do a radial. I'm going to pick that. Now we do need to locate where that is. So that's going to be a little bit weird, but we do have to locate that. So it's going to go something like this, maybe from here to here. Oops, didn't get it. From here. I might have to put a reference plane in there. Yeah, I got to put a reference plane there. Let me just do this really fast here. Reference plane. Sometimes you need reference planes because you need something to go to. Let's see, reference plane. Do a little one here. Okay, let's try that again. So annotate dimension from here to the reference plane, and boy, I guess maybe from here. Just need to find something to locate it so that they know how to make, they can make the circle. I think that should give enough. Okay, so you have to get a little creative there. Okay, we do have some kind of crossing lines here. When that happens, feel free to just drag that. We know what's going on there, but you want to avoid that crossing. Well, let's see, the north arrow is not there. I need to steal the north arrow, so let's go to the floor plan. Oh, I got his before he put a north arrow on there, looks like. Let me see if I can find one in his list here. You need your north arrow. Let's see, it's under symbol, and there's a north arrow. So that should be on all his drawings. Maybe I turned those off or something, but all right. Well, that's kind of what it looks like. So it's you got your exterior footings or solid line and a dash line. That should be one. If you measure them, it should be 1'3". If it's not, you missed it. Okay. Then you have the garage to house. That's 1'3", and then you got the the drop in between, and then you've got the curb. And the curb, I think that curb we did it at like 8 inches or something like that. What do we do on that curb? 8 3/4. I think when I made that line, I didn't do a very good job. I think it should be 8 inches. Yeah, on that one I messed up. I didn't do a very good job of hitting the line. Okay, so that is it. It's not really going to matter that much. I mean, that line, if it's off a little bit, nobody's going to measure it. It's not going to matter. Okay, but you should show the blockouts and all that stuff there. Okay, in theory, if there's a door in the back and you made a door in the back, then you need to create a blockout for it. But other than that, loggia, if you have a loggia, just get some help from me. But in essence, it's gonna kind of look like this. It's gonna kind of have that garage door kind of effect to it. All right, that is the foundation plan. A long one.